I'm George from 1600.io. I have a math degree from Yale. Let's see how fast we can get through the math of digital SAT 2. Which equation has the same solution? 4x plus 6 equals 18, subtract 6 from both sides. 4x equals 12. Corresponding angles are congruent. W is equal to 170. We have how many data points here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're asking for the mean. So we have to now add up all these points. 6 plus 4 is 10, 20, 30, 72, 82, 90. So 90 over 10 equals 9. The mean is 9. We have a line here. B, number of birds and reptiles. Business case for 16 reptiles. So 2.5 B plus 5 times 16 is equal to 80 equals 80. The only time this can happen is when B is equal to 0. Sorry, birds. A cube has a length of 41 inches. What's the volume? Volume of a cube is side length cubed. So even 40 cubed is 40 times 40 times 40 is 64 thousandths. That's closest to that. Obviously, if you did that on the calculator, you'd get it perfect. 13 is p percent of 25. So 13 over 25 is going to be, if we multiply the top and bottom by 4, that's going to be 52 over 100. So 52 is p, because that's 52%. A model predicts the population is 15,000. Next 5 years, it grows by 4% every year, where x is the number of years. The only possible answer here is D, because it's the only one that has 1.04 in the percent seat of the exponential form. Yes, the initial value is 15,000 as well. That's great too. What's the positive solution? Move everything over to one side. So we get 4x squared plus 7x minus 36. Let's use AC factor method. Two numbers that multiply to negative 144 that add to 7. That's going to be 9 and 16, negative 9 and 16. So that means that the solutions are going to be negative 9 over A, 4, and then negative 16 over 4. The only positive solution is negative 9 over 4 or 9 over 4 or B. Here we have data sets A and B. What's best compares the standard deviations of the two. The two standard deviations are identical. The only the data is spread equally, which is the only measure that standard deviation cares for. Obviously, the means are going to be different. The standard deviations are going to be exactly the same. They're distributed identically. The only difference is the axis numbers. So the standard deviations are the same. No, not less. Standard deviation is the same. A is greater, no, and then there is enough information for that. So we have a graph here, a cubic function. How many values of x is fx equals 0? How many times is the y value 0? That happens 3 times. So the answer is C. Exponential function, this is defined by this. G of 3 equals, so 2375 is equal to 19 times a to the third. So we need a calculator here. So 2375 divided by 19 is 125. So that means that, take the cube root of that, a is equal to 5. So that means that we know what's the value of G of 4. 19 times, we know a is 5 to the 4th power. 5 to the 4th power is 625. 625 times 19 is 1,187. That's the value of G of 4. We have two equations here, a parabola and a line. What's the solution? I'm just going to test every one of these points to see if it works in the line first, and then if we have 2, then we deal with it. 0, 2 is not on the line. If you plug in 0, 2 here, you're going to get 2 is equal to negative 12. No. 2 is equal to negative 36. No. 0 is equal to 12 minus 12. Yes. Probably the answer. Negative 4 equals 0. No. So the only answer that satisfies the second equation, therefore it has to be the answer. Triangle FGJH is similar to JKL. F corresponds to J. So F is the same as J. G and K are right. That means that H and JL correspond as well. Sine of F is equal to that. What's the value of sine of J? Well, if sine of F is that, sine of J is also that, because F and J correspond to one another. So even though the side lengths are different, the angle measurements are all the same, so their angle ratios are all going to be the same as well. For trig ratios, I should say. The function this gives the number of bacteria, exponential, how much time in minutes, where t is minutes, does it take for the number of bacteria to double? We need to figure out when t over 410 is going to be equal to 2, 1 actually. Because when the exponent is 1, that means that we've doubled 60,000, right? Because then it's 2 to the first. So that happens when t is equal to 410. So the answer is 410. We have a thing here, what correctly expresses 4j plus 9. Multiply both sides by 4j plus 9 and divide by p. So 4j plus 9 is going to be equal to k over p. So 4j plus 9 k over p. So the answer is A. Line P is defined by this. Line R is perpendicular. The slope of this line they're asking of line R, which is perpendicular to that, the slope of line P is going to be equal to negative A over B. Just be careful about the x and y coefficients. So that's going to be equal to negative 2. So the line perpendicular to this is going to have a slope of positive 1/2. So that's going to be the slope of line R. Point O is the center of a circle. Measure of RS is 100. So this is RS, this is the center. So if the arc measurement's 100 degrees, the central angle is also going to be 100 degrees. So the answer is 100. What's the equation of this? So we see here we have a factor of x plus 5 squared because it bounces. We have a factor of x here, and we have a factor here of x minus 4 one time. Yes, it opens down, negative 1/10 as the coefficient. So x times x minus 4 times x plus 5 squared. Fx equals 201%. What's this? So f of x equals 2.01 times x. That's actually a line. Slope y equals mx plus b. I know it's increasing linearly. I know that you might think that it's exponential. It's not in this case. The function is this for what value? Oh, wait, the function is divided by g of x f of x. So g of x is f of x shifted 5 units to the left. So what value of x is g of x reach a minimum? Well, it's just going to be the minimum value of f of x shifted over 5 units. So let's find the minimum of f of x. That's by negative b over 2a. So that's going to be equal to negative 64 over 8, which is equal to negative 8. So that's the minimum value of f. So the minimum value of g of x is going to be the minimum value of f of x shifted over 5 units to the left. So that's going to be negative 13. Here we have a poll results, 2 people. 803 voters were selected at random. This is what they picked. According to the poll, if 6,424 voted, how many more votes? More votes. So Angel got 163 more votes than Terry in the sample out of 803 total people. So similarly, what's going to be the margin if we poll 6,424 people? Need a calculator. 163 divided by 803. That, then you multiply that by 6,424, 1,304. So that's going to be the margin that it'll win by B. We have a parabola and then a line. We don't know what A is. Exactly one point they intersect. Set them equal to each other, move everything over to one side, then we're going to do the discriminant. So we get 2x squared minus 24x plus 64 minus A. Discriminant, we need the b squared minus 4ac to be equal to 0. So we get negative 24 squared minus 4 times 2 times 64 minus A. So 24 times 24 is 576. 576 minus, it's going to be 512 plus 8a. Yes. So that's going to have to be equal to 0. So this is going to be equal to 64 equals negative 8a, a equals negative 8. But that's not our answer. That's just the value of a. So now that we know what the value of a is, we can set the two equations equal to each other. 3x minus 8 equals 2x squared minus 21x plus 64. Move everything over to one side. We get 2x squared minus 24x plus 72 equals 0. Divide by 2, x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 0. So then that's going to be x minus 6 quantity squared. So the value of x is 1 double root 6.